everyone, this is Leke Olateru Olagbegi, and you are on the Republic of Residents. Today we will be discussing the bystander effect. Have you seen one of those videos online where you see someone in desperate need of help or attention and everybody is picking out their phones and taking a video of what's going on? This is called the bystander effect. The bystander effect is the situation where someone is in desperate need of help and the people around, because they think that one of the other people will help the person in the need of help, they do nothing about it. The bystander effect works like this. The more people that are involved in that particular situation, the less likely they are to help such a person. Many of us have seen those videos and we go like, wow, those people are so mean. How could they behave like that? Guess what, guys? Many of us are like that. In the year 1964, a young lady called Kitty Genovese got murdered. She was murdered within earshot of at least 38 witnesses. In the aftermath of this lady's death, it was recorded that those 38 people, yeah, they heard it, but they figured that someone else was going to step up to help. And after she died, psychologists started looking into the subject. How on earth did that happen? How could there be so many people around who could have saved the young woman's life and they did nothing? And thus was coined the term the bystander effect. We may say, yes, well, I would help someone in need of help, but trust me, all of us are affected by the bystander effect. I'll tell you how. Have you ever thought like this? I hope that we will suddenly have a great president who would come up and begin to solve all the problems of Nigeria, solve corruption, solve insecurity, solve unemployment. If you have ever thought like that, you are one of those bystanders. And I am one of those bystanders too, because I have also thought like that. However, there is a way that we can stop being affected by the bystander effect. The way to stop being affected by the bystander effect is to think of ourselves as the solution. For example, when something happens, you say to yourself, nobody else is going to offer to help, so I am the only person that will fix it. So when you think like this, you will begin to think of solutions. Some of us say that, well, we pray that God will come and fix Nigeria. Well, guys, for those of you who think and speak like that, I have a powerful story for you. The state of Israel became an independent nation in the year 1948. And before then, the Israelites had roamed around the world for nearly 2,000 years. And all through the centuries and more than one millennium, almost 2,000 years, the Jews were spread throughout all of the world. In the Middle East, in North Africa, in Europe, they even went as far as to the USA. Guess what? Because they had been displaced in their ancestral homelands. And the rabbis, they kept passing on the tradition through the generations. That don't worry, God has promised us that we are going to go back to the state of Israel one day. It's going to happen. We are going to experience it. But think about all those guys, all those Jewish guys that lived in 791 AD. They would have been telling their children the same story. My children, don't worry. This is what the rabbis have said. Things are going to get better. We will return to our homeland. 791, they told the same story. 895, they told the same story. 991 BC, they told the same story. 1051, they told the same story. Up to the 15th century, they kept roaming around. And the big issue for the Jewish people was not just that they didn't have a homeland. The big problem was that for them was that they were so much hated around the world for two main reasons. The first reason was because the Jewish people were very prosperous people. Many of them engaged in lending. So when they lent money to people, they typically behaved like Shylocks. They look face, so if they lend you money on the day they're supposed to take that money, they will come after you and they will get the money. So just imagine what happened in Europe in the 15th, 16th, 17th centuries. Poor peasant farmers would go to these Jewish guys to borrow money, and then, they had to pay back. So it so happened that resentment started to build towards the Jews in Europe. And for these reasons, every once in a while, riots will break out against the Jews. They call those riots pogroms. In those pogroms, lots of Jews would be killed, their properties would be taken. It was vile hatred against the Jews. Sometime in the 18th to 19th century, a term was coined called anti-Semitism, which basically defined the hatred of Jews. So essentially, the Jews were seen as outcasts. They were seen as visitors who were taking the properties and the possessions and the privileges of the owners of the land. It's also the reason that they were attacked by Adolf Hitler in the lead up to the Second World War. And this led to 6 million Jews becoming exterminated. So while they were saying to themselves, it go happen, it go better, God don't talk it go happen, it go better, they were getting killed. They were getting destroyed little by little. And the second reason why the Jews were hated was a religious one. The fact that the Jews were responsible for the death of Jesus. Now remember, at this time, Christianity was already in Europe. So the people practicing Christianity at the time did not have the understanding of forgiveness. They didn't understand the reason. So they said, you these Jewish people, you people are the bad people that killed Jesus. So we have to deal with you guys. And so the Jews were called the hated race. The Jews suffered this for almost 2,000 years. Think about it in the context of Nigeria. How many of our parents have died saying, Nigeria will be better? How many of our uncles have died and never saw the great Nigeria? What am I telling you guys? I am telling you that if we do not move, nothing will move. How did the Jews move their situation? In 1897, a guy called Theodor Herzl started a movement along with like-minded Jews from all over the world. They started a movement called the Zionist movement. The objective of the Zionist movement was to restore the state of Israel, was to restore the homeland of the Jews. This was in 1897 when they were spread all across the world. It's just in the same way that the Republic of Presidents exists today, and some of you will say, this Leke, what are they talking about? This guy started, and on board came along other like-minded people, and together they said, we can make this thing happen. Why should our people continue to get killed? Why should we be always second citizens all over the world? We can get restored to our homeland. And that's how the Zionist movement started. Now, the Zionist movement got opposition from the rabbis, the old rabbis, those guys who practiced Judaism. They kept saying to them, you guys are young, you are inexperienced, what are you talking about? We say God has said he will restore us to the land of Israel. You guys are embe. This is for Yoruba people. Embe means you guys are overreaching. You guys are overreaching. Stop it. Just take your time. In God's own time, everything will become all right and we'll go back to the state of Israel. Guess what, guys? If they had waited, nothing would have happened. If they had waited, the state of Israel would not have been born till today. So look at the state of Israel today. From 1948 till today, the state of Israel is one of the top countries in the world. They're known for Nobel laureates who have made advancements in the areas of technology, agriculture, medicine, military technology, and in a host of other areas. Israeli technology is number one in so many different fields around the world today. The Israeli military today is ranked number 11 in the world. And guess what, guys? Israel is less than the size of Jigawa in Nigeria. Let me put that in perspective for you. There are 36 states in Nigeria, along with the FCT, right? Jigawa is the number 18th largest state in Nigeria. The state of Israel is less than the size of Jigawa. Most of the state of Israel is made of arid land where plants cannot grow. But these guys have performed miraculous feats to transform that tiny country into one of the most prosperous nations in the world. How did it happen? It happened because a group of guys and ladies got together and got over the bystander effect. So guys, are you waiting for that great leader who is going to come and deliver Nigeria? Are you waiting for that day when all the conditions will become right and all of a sudden Nigeria would be one of the top nations in the world? My people, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen without you and me rising up and saying, I want to take my place. I want to take responsibility. I want to begin to think of what to solve in this country. I want to think of the problems and how to fix it. Many of us already know that in the corporate environment, work does not get done if it is not allocated to anybody. So as long as we continue to think, oh, Mr. So-and-so will fix it. Oh, one leader from the north will fix it. Or one leader from the south or the east will fix it. As long as we continue to think like that, nothing will change. Nothing will happen. My call to you today, guys, is that we need to begin to think as though the kind of leader we want, we are that person. We need to begin to behave like the leaders we want to see lead us. And as many of us as believe in this and begin to act like the leaders that we want to see lead us, as many of us will begin to create solutions to problems around you. Your own solution area might not be politics. Your own solution area might be industrialization. Your own solution area might be finance. Your own solution area might be technology or research. Your own solution area might be international trade. Some of you might be destined to be broadcasters. Some of you might be destined to be senators. But if you sit down there today and keep thinking that somebody else is going to fix the problem, nothing is going to ever change in this country, my people. So this is the way to get over the bystander effect. As much as we look at those videos on YouTube and say, I'm not like that. Sorry guys, many of us are like that. So this is a rallying cry to all of us to begin to think that you and me, we are agents of change, potentially in our generation. We are potential agents of change. But if we do not do nothing, if we do not move the needle will not move. So thank you for listening to us guys today. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please kindly do so. For you to have watched to this point, evidently you're interested in what we're doing. Thank you for joining us and thank you for being part of this movement. Together we can make Nigeria one of the most prosperous nations on the face of the earth. And until next time, when we see you again, keep thinking and acting like a president. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.